Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for the 5th Dance Discourse Project. Dance Discourse Project is a collaboration between Dancers Group and Counterpulse, and we're so glad that you're here tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Mary Armentrout to do the first part of the introduction, but before I do that, a little bit of housekeeping. We're recording this for podcast as well as for TV, so even if we can hear you in the room, the people out there listening at their homes can't, so please always use a microphone when you ask questions and when you answer them. Now is a great time to turn off your cell phones. It would be helpful if they're completely off because sometimes they can interfere with the sound. And the restrooms are back over in that corner right there. We're going to talk for about an hour and a half, something like that. And then while things are still juicy, but before we all get tired and want to leave, we're actually going to break and have wine and snacks and talk amongst ourselves. So that's what you can expect this evening. And I am thrilled to introduce my co-conspirator with the Dance Discourse Project, Mary Armentrout, the president of the Board of Directors of Dancers Group.
Thank you, Jessica, co-conspirator of the best sort. I just want to take a moment to welcome everybody and give you a few sentences of background about the Dance Discourse Project, which basically, I guess I kind of came to Jessica and said, don't you think it's time that we had a forum for all of us in the dance community to be able to talk about what it is that we do and to talk about the way in which dance making and thinking about dance and talking about dance is a very important intellectual activity that we need to be able to articulate to ourselves, both as a Bay Area community and kind of in a larger arena as well. And of course, Jessica said, well, of course. So here we are, and I am just thrilled to say it's been a wonderful journey so far. We've had rooms kind of like this full of people on all sides eager to kind of participate in discussions about very interesting aspects of the Bay Area dance scene. And so I'm hoping and thinking that this will be exactly the same thing with a different theme. So tonight, we're going to be talking about writing about dance, which is, of course, a huge and varied topic. As you will see from the people that we have here with us, it's rather a focused subset of the possible ways in which you could define writing about dance. But I think it is very clear that it's an area in which we can see a lot of change happening and a way in which we can see the changes that are happening to us as a dance community and as the dance community of the world, kind of relative to the rest of the world. You can see how change is happening when we look at this particular aspect of our world. So I'm just going to give you a little tiny thumbnail introduction to each of our 4 panelists, and then Jessica is going to give us a little broader introduction to the evening. So tonight we're having 4 fabulous writers about dance, and in the order that I have them on my piece of paper, which is not necessarily the order that they're going to talk to you, let me introduce all of whom we are very, very thrilled and honored to have, let me say, before I even introduce them. First, Rita Felciano has been the dance critic for the San Francisco Bay Guardian for more than 20 years and also writes for Dance Magazine and Dance View Times, among other national and international publications. That's Rita right there. Rachel Howard is the dance correspondent for the San Francisco Chronicle, and her dance writing has also appeared in the New York Times, Village Voice, San Francisco Magazine, Dance Magazine, as well as on her blog, rachelhoward.com. Anne Murphy has covered dance for almost 20 years for a host of local and national media. She launched the local publication In Dance, which some of you may know, as the Bay Area Dance Coalition in the mid-1980s, was the dance critic for the East Bay Express for more than 12 years, and has written for the Oakland Tribune, the San Francisco Weekly, San Francisco Chronicle, oh my goodness, and the New York Times. She currently covers dance for the Contra Costa Times, is a faculty member at Mills College, and posts work on her blog, writingdance.com. Just as busy as all the rest of us, huh? All right, and our last panelist is Keith Hennessy, an award-winning choreographer and performer, a teacher at USF and around the world, and currently a PhD student in performance studies at UC Davis. Hennessy's dance writing has appeared in Dance, Movement Research Journal, Itch, Contact Quarterly, and at culturevulture.net. So these are the 4 panelists who are going to help us explore this theme, and Jessica's going to tell us a little bit more about it first.
So what I'm going to offer is some sort of frames that Mary and I have developed to think about this conversation, which could be incredibly wide-ranging and certainly will be. I'm thinking about dance writing in these 3 arenas of practice, context, and value. I want to say that we invited these writers here really as artists. I think of dance writing as an artistic practice. I'm not sure that everyone else does. I'm not sure that dancers or readers think about it in that way, and I'm interested if that is a useful lens, if we think of ourselves that way. I'm also interested in the tension about between the practice of dancing and writing about dance. Is it harder to write about dance than about theater or about other kinds of art forms? Is there something inherently difficult about that? And we have opinions I know we're going to hear. So that's sort of the practice of dance writing. We're also thinking tonight about context. One of the ways that we're framing this discussion is the advent of online media and the decrease of print media. So how is that affecting the practice of writing about dance? How is it affecting the writing itself as well as the audience who reads it? I'm also curious about whether or not it's accurate to equate the advent of online media and blogs with a process of democratization in media. Is that really what's happening? And what might we gain and what might we lose as part of that process? We also want to talk a little bit about the value that dance writing has in our communities. So I have posited, and it could change shapes, but I've posited a 3-pointed triangle. So we have audiences who value critics because they interpret and provide context for the work that they see, artists who value critics because they want audiences, and the relationship between the third point, between the critics and the artists, is really sort of what we're interrogating tonight, and I think is less well understood. How is that relationship a give and take? How is it changing? And then thinking about the public value of dance writing. I know that there are many studies, and I myself am experiencing that patterns of arts consumption are changing. Immigrant populations are much more interested in participatory arts than in the sort of proscenium stage that many of us are presenting. There is an advent of individuals who want to be curators of their artistic experience with the iPod and all of that kind of stuff. And so how is that affecting the public value of professional arts writers? That may be a bigger topic than we get to tonight. So overarching these areas of practice, context, and value is the theme of change. Where are we in this moment in terms of dance writing? Where are we going? And what's changing for us as practitioners, as presenters, and as writers? So with those big questions, we're going to get down to some brass tacks, and we're going to start out by hearing from Rachel Howard about her writing practice and get a little bit of a sense of what it is that she actually does at the Chronicle. So, Rachel?
Hi. It's really exciting to see so many people here who care about dance writing, and I want to start off by thanking Jessica and Mary for all of the work and thoughtfulness that they put into producing this. It's incredible the work that they do before we even get here. So thanks for that. I'm going to actually speak more extemporaneously from notes, and I'm going to try to keep it pretty short. I happen to have been treated to a preview of what these 3 people have to say, and it's incredibly eloquent. So I'm going to let them cover the eloquence tonight and hopefully earn my keep, I hope, in the Q&A. They have very beautiful things to say. So I kind of want to give sort of a nuts and bolts, just a report from what it's like for me kind of in the trenches right now, what I do at the Chronicle. Because I feel like this is how dance writing is changing for all of us. That's a microcosm of how dance writing has changed. So this is basically what I do, what I believe, what I'm worried about, or thinking about where we might be going in the future. I've been freelancing for the Chronicle for the last 5 years. I think a lot of people in the room know that there hasn't been a staff critic there since Octavio Roca left, which was, I think, 6 years ago now or so. And that is typical of what is happening at newspapers across the country right now. So what that means is I'm on a